Here's one about dog culture that I always wanted to question because people are just so they're so sold on this hero status thing. So like September 11th, that recently came up in the news feed, and people will put pictures of dogs that were sniffing corpses up, and they'll say like, "Oh my God, hero!" The hero of the day, the pupper sniffed the corpse. Okay, well, first off, he's not a hero. The dog was trained to do that. The dog probably had hundreds and thousands of dollars spent on him in his lifetime, training to do that stuff. Okay, and that's what dogs do anyways. You let your dog in your backyard, that's all it does is sniff. It's looking around for like a cat turd to eat or something like that. Like when you're out hiking, that's what dogs do. Their noses to the ground, they're looking for bones to eat and stuff like that. So the dog's not a hero. We trained the dog to do that. The dog's doing its job. It's like when I served in the Marine Corps, I wasn't a hero. Some of my guys got injured during training, and we would do fireman's carry, and we'd bandage them up. I'm not a hero. I was doing my job. And yeah, it's certainly great that these dogs are able to sniff the corpses and find these people's family members. That's great. I'm not trying to devalue that, but the tragedy has already happened. The planes, the buildings, the deaths has happened. So dogs are just reactive. They're just a reactive force. They're coming in there and cleaning up the best we can. It's like if a cop shows up to a murder and takes the guy to jail, well, you can call him a hero, but he's not a hero. He's reacting to a crime that's already been perpetrated. And so these dogs that like sniff corpses and go in and find dead bodies, you can call them heroes, but you gotta be honest about it. They're just these dogs are just doing their job. And and so I mean, let's take a step back, a few step backs. With dog culture, we're like last year we spent over $100 billion in our country just on dog expenditures, transactions that can be recorded. That's financial information you can look up anywhere on the internet. And so all this time and money and effort and responding to emergencies and house fires caused by dogs that jump up on stoves. I mean, there's so many crazy expenditures and things that dogs cause and are part of. What if half of that effort went into people like doing research? Like say on September 11th, all that stuff that happened, the deaths, the bombings, who gets a plane and flies it into a building like that? Who does that? What incentivizes them to do that? How were they treated crappy to do that? Who incentivized them to do all that stuff? What if we looked up all that information and we started treating people better overall in our country and in our world instead of exalting and treating dogs like deities? We treat dogs like God level. We put all these memes on Facebook about how they're better than family and all this stuff. We spend billions and billions and billions of dollars on them. We'll go broke, with vet bills and complain about it on Facebook over a dog eating carpet or a dog running in front of a car, getting its leg broke. Dogs only live a certain amount of years, but we'll put more and more money into pharmaceuticals and vet bills to keep a dog alive, an overweight dog that's living in our house just eating food all day because, well, it used to belong to Uncle Ricky or something like that. People will just keep these dogs alive way past their prime, spending money and money and money on all these vet bills and stuff. And so September 11th was my example, but there's lots of other stuff where these dogs are like, oh, he's a hero. He found this dead body. He found this person that was, injured. They're just reacting to something. And what if some of that effort that we put into just spoiling dogs every day went into preventing some tragedies? Even if I'm not talking about dog culture, I'm just talking about that as a habit. What if we put effort into like preventing all these crazy tragedies instead of letting these tragedies happen and then, calling anybody that happens to be part of the cleanup, oh, a hero, heroes come in all sizes. Oh, it's like that's great that the dog or whoever, the firefighters too, it's great that they were there and but that is their job too. And it's our job as humans to like treat each other better, spend more time forgiving each other, spend more time fostering each other's ideas and stuff like that. And so that's like a habit that I think we should develop instead of just waiting for crappy stuff to happen and then being like, oh my God, look at this hero dog, hero dog. That dog has been trained to do that. The dogs were born to sniff stuff out. And we have technology now, thermal technology, listening technology. We have like even in the automotive service, you can get a thing called a sniffer. It will detect one molecule of refrigerant leaking out of your AC. We have technology like that that can find the CO2 that's coming off of someone's body, and thermal and uh, listening things that can hear a person breathing and stuff like that. So these dogs that we send in to do all this stuff, they also have a human cost. The resources we put into training all these police and military dogs, that's a part of the cost of dogs too. Police dogs bite people that they're not supposed to bite all the time. When I was in the Marine Corps, they had the MP dogs, and I thought those were super cool. But they bit some of their handlers sometimes because they get so excited that they don't know what's going on, and they'll bite some other guy that's standing there, and he'll have a big old cut on his hand. But then we're like, oh, that dog's a hero. It's like, well, no, he's just doing his job. Yeah. So, what do you guys think about that? Do you think instead of giving things hero status after stuff just goes to shit is is super important, or do you think some of these things that we give hero status to, if we weren't given so much effort to that, do you think maybe some of these tragedies could be prevented? I think when it comes to dog culture, I think it definitely could.